Oh! 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 No! No! Please! Stop it! Ah! Water, its natural enemy. Oh, God. Please. I need to get past that one. Ah! No! No! Ah! Gators can't climb! Gators can't climb! Oh! Oh! Oh, gators can't climb! They can't climb! Ah! Greetings, fellow internet nobodies. It is I, everyone's favorite internet nobody, Nismospoolin here, and I would like to start out today's video for those with the shortest attention spans ever that there is a subscribe button down there and also a like button down there. So if you are new, go ahead and click the subscribe button so that you can get more content, because I make plenty of videos on this channel, from reviews to how to get better at FPS games to going over criticisms of games quite like this one. So if you would like more content like that and you think I'm a pretty neat guy, I think I'm a pretty neat guy sometimes, give me a subscription. I've got some goals that I would like to meet by the end of the year, and your subscription will definitely help that in the long run. Now, if you've been living under a rock for the past 2 weeks, you would not know that Amazon Game Studios released a closed beta for their new MMO game, New World. I am very skeptical about MMO games. The MMO genre has been pretty beat up for the past 10 or so years with microtransactions and all sorts of other predatory practices that really hurt the genre quite a bit. Western MMOs usually tend to do better in this case, but we shall see. Now, I've been really enjoying the closed beta for New World. It's actually been quite a good experience for me, especially the very beginning, and it was actually quite difficult for me to tear myself away from that game to make this video for you guys, which is a good sign. I really do like having a game that I wake up and I am excited to go play. That being said, the only people that have access to this closed beta, as it were, are victims of Amazon's pre-order process, or victims, or I guess purchasers, whatever you want to call them. That way, Mr. Bezos can have more money to fund more Oscar Mayer wiener-shaped rockets to go into space.
Clear the tower, on our way to space with our first human crew. Go, Jeff, go, Mark, go, Wally, go, Oliver. You are going to space.
And some people might think that that is where he belongs, and if he wants to go up there into space and he wants to mine space currency and leave the rest of the Earth credits for us to pick up off of the floor, I think that would be great. But I would like for it to stay as a box cost for the game, and I am not entirely sure that that is going to be the case. Like I said a moment ago, I've been having quite the good time playing New World, and the first 20 or so, maybe 25 levels were actually quite enjoyable. I liked going out, I liked doing, the little narrative quest line that they have there. It was very satisfying and rewarding for me to go out and mine nodes and pick plants and what have you. The combat feels decent. There are some things that need to be fine-tuned before the full release, but it's a beta. As far as betas goes, it feels pretty solid. It's not too bad. There were a lot of people that had some lag and server instability problems, but I did not experience many of them. I got disconnected 2 times in my over a week of play due to server instability, and it wasn't really that big of a deal. I did decide, at least for the closed beta, to join a server with massive Twitch streamers on it because I wanted to see the Twitch integration in action. My Twitch channel is not massive. I maybe get 10, 20, 30 viewers at a time, and I felt like seeing some of these massive streamers with tens of thousands of viewers playing the game, it would give me a better idea of how this Twitch integration works. So far, I haven't really seen much in the Twitch integration realm of it. Maybe it'll be something that'll be more prevalent in the full release of the game. One thing that I did notice is that on the first couple of days of the closed beta, everyone that had their Twitch accounts linked up with their game accounts and they were currently streaming had a little viewer count next to their name, and I thought that was pretty crap. I think that it is very harmful for small channels when other players or bigger streamers run by somebody that is also streaming and they have 10, 15 viewers or less. It hurts that channel's growth more than it does anything good for it, because people see the low number and they think, oh, that guy must be garbage, or that guy's a nobody. I'm not going to go watch their stream. In fact, I'm just going to sit back and make fun of them for not being as successful as I am, which is not cool. They did remove that, or they at least took the Twitch integration away for the time being. I haven't seen it popping up around anybody else's names in the past couple of days, so maybe they're tweaking that and reworking it a little bit. I feel like because this game is made by Amazon Game Studios, they have a little bit more of an incentive there to grow Twitch channels and bring more people to their Twitch platform to watch more streams, because they will make more money off of it in the long run. So, if anything, I think the Twitch integration might be pretty good for smaller streamers, people like me, people, you know, friends of mine, that anybody under, I would say, 500 viewers a stream. I think it would be really nice for New World to really push some people to their channels and help them get more popular. I'm not going to wait on that. I feel like YouTube is a much better way for me to grow an audience, and then if people want to watch me stream, they can go over to Twitch and watch me stream. I, in fact, like YouTube better at the moment. Even though I am a Twitch partner, kind of like YouTube better. I kind of feel like I'm growing better and more sustainably on YouTube, and there's less of a toxic culture around people making videos on YouTube than there are people streaming on Twitch. The in-game VoIP, or the proximity chat, sometimes is pretty cool. Sometimes it's pretty funny. Other times it's damn right annoying. Especially seeing that Amazon Game Studios have decided to opt out of paying proper QA testers their minimum wage to test the game. You know, proper trained QA video game testers. They've decided to let people pay them to QA test their game. And a lot of the people in the closed beta are not qualified QA game testers, to say the very least. So standing in some of these settlements and some of these towns, especially on this really, really populated streamer-heavy server that I'm playing on, you get a lot of people running past you in settlements, screeching and yelling and just saying the wildest stuff. The crafting in the game feels really nice, particularly at the beginning. You know, you go out, you grab some stuff out of some crates, you mine some nodes, you pick some flowers, you skin some monsters, and you come back to town and you take all of those things that you've picked up off of the ground and you put them all together and you make some things. But we'll go over a little bit later why this nice, satisfying crafting experience gets a little bit railroaded at some point. Leveling seems to go by quite quickly, but it feels quite dull and uninspired. You can definitely tell that this game wasn't originally intended to have this much of a PvE MMO experience. Quests feel rushed and empty and very sameish. The narrative storyline feels empty and fragmented, like they had a small narrative to begin with, and then they were like, ah, crap, we need to add more, so they stretched it out a bunch, and then they tried to, where they stretched it so thin, tried to add little bits in the middle to kind of keep people going. The weak points in that narrative really start to show at about 25, 30, maybe even 40, and it's really dramatic. But a lot of people don't play MMOs for the narrative. They play for PvE content, they play for dungeons, they play for PvP content, they play for crafting, they play for the community and the world building. So the narrative kind of takes a back seat. I'm not too worried about that not being too great. In fact, if you want a game that has really great narrative, you can play games like Final Fantasy XIV. You don't have to play New World. The map is not very big. As far as MMOs goes, I'm not sure if this map is the entire thing. And when the game fully releases, there will be more places to explore, more expansive, stuff like that. But as far as this closed beta goes, this map is very small. And it is all one landmass. There's some tiny little islands dotted around the edges of the map, but for the most part, it's one big landmass, and you just kind of chill on this big landmass. The world is kind of made to feel big and expansive by limited quick travel options and no mounts. Everywhere that the game is lacking, all of the holes in the game, everywhere that seems empty or not quite filled up, feels very intentional. You can tell that the weak points of the game were designed to be filled with microtransactions, and that's very disappointing. Whether they intend to still put those microtransactions in the game or not, it doesn't change the fact that this game feels like it was designed around microtransactions first, and then gameplay and other content has been taken, put in after the fact. Once you get to about 100 mining, 100 skinning, or 100 of any of the professions, you seem to hit this wall. This progress wall seems to be there to convince you to go to a microtransactions shop to buy something to get over that wall. The microtransactions aren't in the game right now because it is a beta, but the game was totally designed around the in-game store. You can feel it in the crafting, traveling from place to place, and the very limited item diversity. This may be because I'm still in the leveling experience, but in the preview event last year, I managed to get to the max level, and back then, the armor and weapon skins for higher level gear wasn't very diverse. You had 3 tiers of armor, medium, light, and heavy, and the endgame options for that gear all looked pretty much the same, and the same as what I'm still seeing here. The only difference that I can find now is that weapons and armor that drops from Expedition does have quite a unique look to it, but once players hit level cap, everyone will seemingly be wearing the exact same stuff. Endgame still looks to be lacking in quite a big way. The Thorpe fight that was present in the preview is still there, and that was considered to be an endgame fight. But I have happened upon 2 other places with what appears to be max level enemies to fight. If the game releases with this little endgame content, it'll either get boring very quickly, or Amazon Game Studios will have to pump up expansions very fast in order to keep people playing. I'm still very concerned about the looming in-game store and the things that they'll inevitably be putting in there. The game is very obviously grabby and addictive at the start and when leveling. Getting new pieces of gear and progressing in your gathering and crafting has very little impedance. But the moment you start hitting those walls, it starts to feel really predatory. For example, in World of Warcraft, you can level your crafting all the way up to max in Vanilla or Burning Crusade before you start seeing those patterns and schematics with components that are hard to get. And those components are acquired through playing the game and completing challenging content. You can look up what you need to mine or gather and go get all of that stuff in abundance. then set about leveling your craft. There is never an item that is random in any of these games with crafting professions that you don't have to go into the microtransaction store and buy stuff for. You can just look it up, either on like Wowhead or Wikipedia or wherever you want to go look up, and you can see where that thing comes from, and you can go get it. Drop rate might not be that great on some things, but that is how you get it. That is exactly where you go to get those things. New World seems to have introduced an element of randomness that doesn't need to be there. For example, armor smithing requires you to go out and mine stuff, bring the ore back, and then smelt it, and you can turn those ingots into armor or weapons, until you're making steel and higher, at which time you need flux. That flux can only be obtained by looting little boxes in abandoned or ravaged settlements scattered around the zones. These boxes are on a timer, so once you loot all of the boxes in any given area, you have to wait a while to loot them again, which forces you to move to another settlement. After a while, you run out of local places to find these boxes, and what is in the boxes is random, so you could loot 3 settlements worth of boxes and get no flux at all. So you go to another zone, maybe in that zone you get 20 to 30 flux, not enough. Time to go to the next zone, and so on and so forth. And these little things like flux are prime for ending up in a microtransaction store. Need more flux? Buy a supply crate bundle for $1. What's inside you won't know until you open it, but at least you don't have to run all the way around the map with no mount to get it. Good luck and thanks for all of your money. Granted, it is still very early, and in the closed beta, I am only level 33 at the moment, meaning I am halfway through the leveling experience this time around. If I can get to max level before the end of the beta, I can give a better analysis, but it's still looking pretty sus so far. I'll tell you this much. If Amazon are going to monetize this game in such an aggressive way like this game will not last very long. And that is a massive shame, because the game looks beautiful. The audio design is impeccable. There are so many great parts to this game that are going to be let down by what is essentially a lot of greed and avarice by Amazon Game Studios. The game is still fun until you hit these walls and inconveniences. The world is beautiful, the sounds are breathtaking, the vistas are vast and exciting. You can tell the development team put a lot of heart and love into this game. It really does show in a lot of key places. And I know for a fact that it's not the developer's fault for this looming feeling of microtransaction tomfoolery. But this game feels very corporate. It feels like a massive trillion-dollar corporate machine has seen how much money games make and wants a piece of that pie. And they just have hired some really fantastic people to make that game. I want New World to be great. I'm having fun exploring and leveling in the beta. I really am. But I cannot shake that feeling of uncertainty that I get every time I run into a fabricated stop sign or inconvenience that I know from experience is put there so they can sell me the solution. I really do hope that someone at Amazon Game Studios steps up and says something and says, this isn't right. This game is not going to go very far like this. I understand that sometimes microtransactions are necessary. I don't like them. I think there are better and less predatory ways to monetize your content. Like, I would be happy paying a $40 box price and a $15 a month sub to the game in order to drastically limit or completely remove these microtransactions. But microtransactions, especially the small ones like $1 here and $1 there, are going to make them a lot more money than $15 a month. Their average month is 30 days. If they spend $1 a day, they're making more than that $15 a month. So naturally, they would like to have microtransactions in their game. I don't think it's the developer's fault. I don't think the developers, the designers, and everything like that are trying to make a game that is predatory. I think that they've just been offered a job to make a game and they're making the best of it. But Amazon Game Studios, the producers need to take a good look at this from an outside perspective and take a look at how this game looks to the average player and decide whether or not these look pretty sus, because they do look quite sus. I will make more videos on this in the future. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. If you liked it, give it a like. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Ta-ta for now.